Hello everyone. Sorry, reaching for my phone. Today I'm going to do... Hello everyone. Pretty Alice Moon here. Today I was the other day I was tagged in 13 questions Q&A by Whimsy Meadows, so I'm going to do that today. I will be looking down at my phone because that's where I have all the questions. So, I thought I had it open. I guess not. Okay. So the first question is, what do you collect a lot of? And if you do, show at least one piece of your collection. Okay, there's a couple things I collect that I consider that I sort of actively collect. I've collected things in the past where I still have the collection, but I don't necessarily actively collect it anymore. So one thing I collect, this is only a small part of my collection. I've showed this before. It's sort of like, this part of it is sort of like a divination set that I made. But these are, I made this, like the divination part of it when I was real young. And I'm sorry it's so zoomed out. I've got this, like tripodish thing. I'm using a new camera instead of my phone for once. And I don't have a tripod for it. So I've got it rigged up on like a plastic chest of drawers and then like a stack of books. And I can't get it higher up so that I can zoom in because the books kept falling over. Because I've got it on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books already. So anyway, here is one of the keys. And then, you know, I've got like a ton of them. I've only got like 7 of them right here. But they're just, you know, old skeleton keys. I buy them at antique stores, things like that. My grandfather actually gave me, before he passed away, he passed away like when I was in middle school. But he actually gave me a couple of these that are in here. And I've got a little chair over here with some of my collections and different things I'm going to show you because some of these questions they like to show stuff. And then this is a box, a little glass box that has it's part of my collection, which is crystals. So I'll show you a few of those. This here is a raw chunk of rose quartz. I don't know how well it's focusing because the camera, I can see it. It's trying to focus on my face. It's got like a square. So I'll try to put that like in front of my face and see if it'll focus there. It's got one of those flip up screens so I can see, sort of, but since it's so zoomed out and my vision's not very good. Here's an amethyst, small little piece of that. I've got, this is a Shiva Lingam here. Pretty cool. And then, you know, I've got like this stone. I don't really know what it is. I've had this one for a real long time. Years and years. So, you know, this is just, it's a whole box of different stuff here. Okay, I'll go to the next question now. Do you have a spirit animal? And if so, how did you discover that it or they were yours? Okay, well, I think totem animals and spirit animals are two different things, first of all. I think everyone has a totem animal. I think totem animals are where it's an animal that sort of represents you. And, sorry, I'm trying to kind of think how to put this into words. Whereas a spirit animal is more something that'll come to you during different parts of your life, different animals, to sort of like teach you different lessons and things you need to learn during that part of your life. So right now, I believe I do have some type of totem, but I haven't discovered it yet. Because like I said, I think everyone has some type. And I don't know if I have a spirit animal. If I do, I again haven't discovered it. Do you have a favorite crystal or stone, and can you show it and how you came to have it? I don't have a specific, like, this is the one piece that's my favorite or whatever. I have different pieces that'll be a favorite, or, you know, the piece I want to use depending on what working I'm doing. Clear quartz, of course, is always good for different things because you can kind of program it, which you can really do with any stone, but clear quartz is real good for that. And then, depending just kind of on my mood and stuff, even if I'm not doing like a specific working necessarily, I'll be drawn to different crystals. Do you play an instrument? And if so, what kind, and show it? If not, is there any instrument that you would like to learn to play and why? A long time ago, I took piano lessons, not like on a proper grand piano or whatever, but just a keyboard. And I was not good at that. My teacher was real strict, you know, stand up, sit up super straight, and like do your hands a certain way. And my hands have always been real small. They're like child size even now when I'm grown. Like an elementary school kid or something, or a middle schooler maybe. And so they're real tiny, and so even when I was a kid, they were like even smaller. And so I couldn't reach the keys good at all. And it was real hard, and I just did not enjoy the lessons, even though I really wanted to learn to play. And so I gave up on that pretty quick, after only like a couple months. But I've always wanted to learn to play. And another one I'd like to learn to play is the guitar. And I had a friend who tried to teach me that, but she wasn't actually a teacher, and she didn't really know how to teach, and so that didn't really work. Do you have a book of shadows, or BOS, and can you show it and tell us one entry from it? I've done a couple videos on my book of shadows and grimoires. This here, hang on. Sorry, it's stuff on top of it, and stuff falling out of it apparently. This is my working book of shadows. It's a binder. It's a spring post binder as opposed to a 3-ring binder. So it's got like, oh, and there it opens. A spring post that does open like that. So it's like a post-bound book, but it's a binder. And I've only got a few things in it right now. It's got some tabs, obviously, which don't have anything in them yet. But then, like, I've got some witch etiquette. And, day and color correspondences, moon phase correspondences, a lot of correspondence stuff right now. And then I'm going to put, like, that's kind of generic correspondences. And then I've got all this paper that I need to put in there. And a bunch more that's in another binder. And a lot of this, like, it'll say, like, down here, like, retype. Oops. Because I've got them, like, front to back, but they're wrong. Like, I printed them. Sorry, I dropped something. I printed them wrong, like, like, page 1 will be here on the front, and then page 5 will be on the back, or whatever. It's, you know, so it doesn't flow right. So I need to retype those, reprint them. Oh, and please tell me I did not just delete this. Okay, good. Started a new one, didn't delete it. I've got it in my notes section. Do you have a familiar? If so, what kind is it? And if not, if you do, and if you do not, but could have any kind of creature as one, what kind would it be and why? I have a cat. Her name is Calorina, like ballerina, but with a C. I'm not sure why I named her that. It just kind of came to me, and I was like, well, that's supposed to be your name, so I named her that. I call her Callie for short. She is a tortoiseshell cat, short hair. If you don't know what that is, you can kind of search it. Most tortoiseshell cats are actually female, and she is a female, obviously. I did say she. And she's hard to get on video because she's scared of when you like hold the phone up, or which is what I usually record on since I just got the new camera and my other one broke. She's scared of it. When you hold it up like you're gonna record her, she gets scared of it. She was a wild cat originally, a feral, and we got her when she was still, you know, only maybe 6 months, but she was real wild, real scared. And someday I'll have to tell the story of how I got her because it's pretty interesting, actually. But I'm gonna do a video on her sometime. I've got a few little bitty shots, but she's not in here right now, and I'm not sure where in the house she is. I don't want to go search her out and bring her in here. She doesn't really like to be held, but she's much more tame and calm than she used to be, for sure. Do you have any fears? If so, what are they? Well, of course, I am human. All humans have fears. And I think all creatures have fears, really. And I have some more, like, not so serious ones, like ever since I've gotten my illness, I've actually become scared of heights, which I think is really odd. I didn't used to be at all. You know, I could ride like really big Ferris wheels and stuff, and now like on the second story of a building, I'm like terrified. Like I can't go near the edge, or like glass elevators. I'm like really scared of heights. It's kind of ridiculous. And then of course I've got more like deep-rooted ones, like ending up alone and things like that. But really, I don't think it's so much how, or I mean what you're scared of, but how you kind of handle it and how you kind of move through the fear and deal with it. Kind of how you move past it. Has anything ever happened to you during a ritual that was either cool, interesting, or scary? I'd say so. Not like necessarily super scary. I mean, I've like knocked over candles and that I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to catch something on fire, but you know, it didn't, of course. Well, not of course, I mean it could have, of course. Sorry, not of course all the time, but I guess one that was real memorable was when I first started out. I had a friend that was kind of teaching me some stuff. She really introduced me to the craft and to Wicca, which is how I started out, was with Wicca rather than just general paganism. And we were doing a Samhain ritual. I think that was, I don't remember if that was the very first ritual. It wasn't the very first Sabbath ritual, I mean, not first ritual. I don't remember if that was the first Sabbath ritual I ever did, but it was certainly one of them. And I remember just during that ritual, I could like really feel deity there, especially the goddess. Because I'd never worked with the goddess really. It was always the god coming from Christianity. And I could just really feel the deity there, the god and goddess, and like I said, especially the goddess. And it was so amazing because coming from Christianity, but there was the god, and I'd never really believed in Christianity. Sorry, I've got really bad allergies right now. And it was kind of like I viewed God as being this like really strict being, like I always, when I pictured him, he was always like sitting in like a sort of like that Abraham Lincoln statue, and I think it's in Washington or whatever, at the memorial. How he's like really huge and he's like marble and he's like sitting in this strict chair and he's got this like, I've never seen it, but like, or even really much pictures in detail, but like I pictured God as like real strict face, like a grandfather figure sort of, that wasn't friendly at all. And that's how I pictured him, you know, real strict, just you have to do it this way or you're going to hell type thing. And I was much more scared of him than thinking of him as like, oh, you know, he's this loving God. And so I just, during this Samhain ritual, I just felt so empowered, and it was really great, amazing. If you could teach a new witch anything at all, what would it be? I'd say definitely the value of research, and of, when researching, not taking everything as just gospel, as you have to do it this way or you're doing it wrong. And not just to research like on YouTube and the internet, but in books as well, and other forms of research other than just computer type stuff. Because a lot of people I've noticed on websites, they'll literally quote books and then give absolutely no credit to the author at all. And you'll read something, and then I've noticed I've like read things and then gone back later and looked in a book and been like, I just read this, or read this earlier at some other point on a website, and had no credit given whatsoever. And I'm not talking about like huge, like the whole book parts or like whole chapters or whatever, but just like little pieces of it and things. And it just really annoys me. Like, you can't just steal people's work and not give credit, you know. What's your favorite thing on your altar, or an altar must have? For me, I don't really have an altar must have, just because the altar itself isn't a must have. I've been practicing about 17 years now, and I didn't actually have an altar until maybe the past 4, maybe 5 years. Just because I was majorly in the broom closet, which I still am with being a witch, but my immediate family knows and my 2 best friends know I'm pagan. And my 2 best friends sort of know I'm a witch, but I've never like come out and been like, yeah, guess what, I'm a witch. But I mean, they sort of know. Like I've said I'm witchy, and I do this kind of stuff, but I've never just flat out said it. But a couple things I like to have on my altar are my working candle and the 2 deity candles, which I just uploaded a video of my Beltane altar, so you can see my working candle and the 2 new deity candles I have, which are beeswax now. They're tall taper candles. I used to have taper candles, and one was silver for the goddess and one was gold for the god, but they're of course like dipped, you know, so they're white with just the outside and of the color. And I thought the white beeswax would be more appropriate, and because it's beeswax, it's more clean burning and whatnot. Let's see, where am I? Can you name 10 crystals or stones off the top of your head? Well, let's see. There's quartz, amethyst, citrine. What's that one called? Well, there's calcite. That's not the one I was thinking of, though. My box is not going to help me because I don't know the names of most of those. There's lapis lazuli, Apache tears, onyx, jet. Did I say calcite? I won't say it again in case I did. There is selenite. That's the one I was thinking of before. And there is black tourmaline, or tourmaline in general. Okay. If you could be any god or goddess, who would you be and why? I've never really considered this. I definitely could not fill like the role of a god or goddess. That's definitely, leave that up to them. But let's see, I wrote a couple down. Well, first of all, I don't really know much about any of them, like their specific stories and things. But recently I have been researching the goddess Hel, and so I feel out of all of them I know the most about her. So maybe her. I feel like I can relate to her in some ways. And then I think like a death goddess would be kind of cool, just because I'm kind of gothic-y and more on the dark side. And so I think, and I'm definitely more like serious than like a real funny and bubbly and whatever kind of personality. And so I think someone like that would kind of suit me. And I thought about maybe Persephone, but I know her basic story, how she was like sort of kidnapped by Hades, and then she ends up, I'm pretty sure she ends up falling in love with him in the end, but certainly not at first, because I mean she was kidnapped, and I definitely wouldn't want to be like kidnapped by some random guy I didn't know or even like. But the fact that she ends up falling in love with him in the end and gets to spend like half the, or I don't know if it's a half or a third of the year with him, and then the rest with her family and stuff, I think that's kind of cool because she gets kind of the best of both worlds or whatever. Do you have a favorite recipe or a family favorite you make? This is number 13, so it's the last. Well, my grandmother makes a really good chicken and dumplings, and dumplings, I guess you would say it if you're not from the South. And that's really good. It's like a semi-homemade recipe, not 100% homemade. You use like a mix to make the dumplings, but you like alter. You don't follow the recipe exactly on the package. And it's a special kind of mix. You have to get it at like this one place in the town she lives in. So they don't sell it here where I live, and so I can't just like make it anytime I want here. And I tried making it with like a different type of mix that they do sell here, but it's definitely not the same. It doesn't taste the same, and they come out different because they're supposed to be like, the dumplings are supposed to be real fluffy, and they come out like chewy with the mix that they have here, which I don't particularly like as much. But then one that we make that's all the way homemade is my grandmother's pie crust and her pies, which her pie crust is really good as long as you don't like over knead it, because then it becomes tough. And I like to use that to make apple pie and chicken pot pie, which I'm not a huge fan of pies myself. I make it like with pecan pie and stuff for like other people, but if I'm gonna eat it myself, I just make chicken pot pie and apple pie, which I'm actually allergic to apples now, so Now I just kind of eat the crust of the apple pie because I like the like cinnamon and like juice of the apples, but I can't eat the apples themselves, so that kind of stinks now, but whatever. So that is the last question, and I'm going to tag to do this Alley Cat in the Black Hat, Anastasia Autumnfire, and Epona's Rider, which her channel name is 3D3ND3N1. So if you guys want to do the tag, that'd be awesome. I guess if you really don't want to, you obviously don't have to. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed, and blessed be.